Okay, let's see if you already know how to do this one.
Would you do 15 times? No, divide by 6.
15 divided by 6. Let's take a look. So 15 miles, 6 hours. So his average speed would be 2.5 miles an hour. Yeah, so 6 hours, that'd be 12 and 3, so 15. And so what this shows you here, so miles, so you've got speed, distance and time. So which one is miles, the 15 miles? Is that speed, distance or time?
Oh, distance.
And 6 hours, speed or time?
Time.
And so distance over time gives you speed, and also distance over speed gives you time. And so sometimes you see it written like this just as a kind of memory aid. And so basically distance over speed gives you time, distance over time gives you speed, and speed times time gives you the distance. And so that's just a little memory aid. Okay, 2.5 was the answer. How do we do this? This is part B.
So would you do 8 times 3?
Okay. So what is that times 3?
So you get 24.
So it's 24 kilometers.
So they're right.
15 miles. Sneak says that Peter walked more than 24 kilometers. Yeah. So it's is need to write yes. It's fine. He walked 2. Okay, how do we do this one?
So would you do 200 divided by 4?
Yeah, and this one's non-calc.
So 50?
Yep. 50, so that's miles, that's hours, so 50 miles per hour. Okay, let's read that one.
So to work So would you do wait, so am I working out the time it took for each one?
Yeah.
So would you do 25 divided by 15?
So you are trying to find the time. 25. Yep.
For 2.
That would be 50 over 25. 25 over 50.
I don't know.
So 50 over 25 would be 2 over 1. And so 25 over 50.
Over 2.
Yeah. And so this was miles per hour. So what would be the time unit for that? So miles per hour, what is the time unit there?
I'm not sure.
So you have miles and you have hour. Which one of those is the time?
Also, half a mile per hour.
We found the time.
Oh, so I'm getting really confused.
Basically half an hour. Basically, so this 25 was the distance, the 50 was the speed, and so that gave us the time. And so the time part of the speed, you have miles and you have hours, and so the time part is hours, the distance is miles. So that's how you figure it out. So it's like half an hour, it's not like half a minute or anything. Okay, from B to C.
So then 25 divided by 60.
Mm-hmm. Can you simplify that?
How would I simplify
that? Any number you can divide the top and bottom by?
5.
Yeah. So 25 divided by 5?
5.
And 60 divided by 5?
6.
That'd be divided by 10.
Oh, 20.
That'll be divided by 3, I think. Divided by 5. How many 5s in 60?
12.
Yeah. And the unit?
Hour.
Yeah. Okay, so you have to work out the difference in the time taken from A to B and B to C.
I'm not sure what I'd do.
So just find the difference between half an hour and 5/12 of an hour. Any idea how you go about that?
Minus them.
Yeah. So half minus 5/12. How do you do that?
So would you times 2 to get it to get 12?
Yeah, what would you times it by?
6.
Yeah, and so what goes on the top?
6.
Yeah. And so what is that?
1 over 12.
So that's 1 over 12 of an hour. They said give your answer in minutes.
Would you divide by 60?
You would do 60 divided by 12.
Then you get 5.
Yep. 5, and they said it was minutes. Yeah, so basically a half an hour is 30 minutes. 5/12 of an hour must be 25 minutes. And so when you subtract one from the other, you get 5 minutes.
Okay.
Or 1/12 of an hour is 5 minutes. So let's see this one. So that was 30, that was 25, and then in total is 5. I don't have the thing for that. I think it's a 4-mark question. Yeah, so the difference in the times, get the time for this one, time for this one, and subtract the 2, and then convert it to minutes. Any questions there?
No.
Okay, so this next one was a big one, so I just typed it out. I'll let you read that. Tell me what you think.
Okay, so so you know that triangle is the distance at the top and then speed and time.
Mm-hmm.
So would you find out the speed they'd have to go?
Mm-hmm. That's one way to do
it. So like 30 miles divided by 26.
Okay, 30 divided by 26. So it seems weird. So that's giving us 15. Let's just write it as 15 over 13. Or basically that's like 1 point something. Any idea why it's given us that strange thing?
I don't know because it can't be divided by 26.
It's because the speed limit is 70 miles per hour, but this isn't hours, this is 26 minutes. So what could you do about that?
So would you do 70 divide by 60?
Yeah, that'll work. Okay. 70 divided by 60 is 1.16 recurring. And that's miles per...
Minute.
Yeah, so dividing it by 60 turns it into minutes. Okay. And so what does that tell us?
That they won't have to go for.
Yeah, so yeah, go on. So I'll write down won't have to break speed limit. And maybe a way to kind of understand it better is to, instead of dividing the 70 by 60, so instead of dividing that by 60, you could times the other one by 60. So this 1.15 thing, if you do that times 60, you get basically 69 miles per hour. So you go from minutes to hours, so 69 miles per hour, and that's less than the 70 miles per hour. But your way was just as valid. Any questions there?
No.
Okay, so these are the difficult worded questions. Let's see this one. Okay, try that.
So would you do 20 divided by 30?
Yeah. So 0.6 recurring, or 2/3. No, actually. 20 miles. What is that?
Distance.
Yeah, so that's the distance. And 30 miles per hour? Oh, no, sorry, yeah, distance. That's fine, yeah. Sorry, so that's 0.6 recurring. And that's the time. So what's the unit for the time?
Per hour.
Yeah, so that's 2/3 of an hour.
And then how would I?
Convert that to minutes, and I think it'll be more obvious.
you do 19 take away 18, 10.
Okay. What is that?
90.
This is time. So that 18:10 is like 10 past 6.
One. An hour and a half. Wait, no.
So from 10 past 6 to 7 o'clock.
Oh, 50 minutes.
Yeah. So that's 50 minutes. This one down here is 2/3 of an hour. What'd you do there?
Work out what a third of an hour is.
Yeah. What is that?
So do 260 divide by 3
Mm-hmm.
to get 20.
Yeah.
So, and then you times that by 2.
Mm-hmm.
You get 40.
Yeah.
So, wait. So yeah.
Yeah. And how many minutes does he have spare?
10.
Yeah. Okay. Any questions about that?
No.
Yeah, and it just helps to have, if one is in hours and one is in minutes, and you have to compare, it helps to make them both hours or both minutes. But other than that, it's just working it out. Okay. Okay, how do we do this?
So you just do 4. No. 30 times 4.
Yep.
Which is 120.
And what's the unit?
Miles.
Yeah, just miles, because it's distance. And so you can see there, in the speed is the one you look at for the units. Miles per hour. The distance is miles, the time is hour. And so distance will be miles and time, and you can see up there 4 hours. So that's part B. And he drives 200 kilometers. On which day did he drive further? Okay, so this one he went 120 miles. And how would you do that?
Then you do 1 40 times 8.
Okay. What is 40 times 8? Or 4 times 8?
Oh, 32.
So that's 32. We needed to compare it to 200. How about the miles? Would that be easier to make?
Oh yeah. So 40 miles.
No. So you were trying to get 120 miles equals something kilometers. So you have to figure out 5 times what will give you 120. Any idea how you go about figuring that out?
120 divided by 5.
Yeah. What is that?
24.
Yeah. So that was times by 24. And so same thing here. Oh, sorry, the 8.
How do you do that? Because I've never known how to do that.
Okay, so just do 8 times 4 to begin with.
32.
So that's 32. 8 times 20.
160.
And then you do 32 plus 160.
Oh. So 2, 9, and 1. So 192.
And so on which day did he travel further?
The first day.
Yeah, Tuesday. Okay, so basically, yeah, 5 miles equals 8 kilometers, 120 miles equals what kilometers? Or you could have done it the other way and said, like, 200 kilometers equals how many miles? It's usually easier to multiply forward than to divide backwards. Any questions there?
No.
Okay. Okay, so now we have conversion graphs. So before we were converting between miles and kilometers in like using the formula that they were giving us. Now we have to use the graph. So you can, well, I'll just let you try. So change 72 kilometers per hour to miles per hour. How do you do that?
Is it 7 point? I don't know.
So you use the graph. So which one is 72 kilometers per hour? Is it x-axis or y-axis?
Y-axis.
So we go 72 kilometers per hour. We go up to 72. There's 5 squares in between 70 and 80. And so how many squares will be 72?
1.
Yeah. So we go up there, go across, hit the line. Let me just change that. And then go down, so it looks like it's just there. So what is that in miles per hour?
45.
Looks like it's approximately 45. And then change 30 miles per hour to kilometers per hour.
48.
Yeah, let's say 48. So 45 and 48 approximately. So that one, 46 to 49. Okay, we were doing our best with the computer. I think you'd be okay in person. And then 43 to 46. We said 40. Do I have these the right way around? Let me just check. A and B. No, we were right. 48 and then 45. So I just had them the other way around. Yeah. So that's 45 and that's 48.
If the answer was 46 and you got 45, would you get a mark or not?
Well, if it's between 46 and 49, you wouldn't. For part A, I had them backwards. So basically, because I just chopped it up. Yeah, so we said 48, so we were between 46 and 49. And then we said 45, and we were between 43 and 46, so that's fine as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Any questions there?
No.
Okay. Okay, let's try this. Or is this kind of the same as the other? You want to try it? So it's like very similar type of question. They're difficult though.
How many marks would this question be worth?
I think it's 3 marks. Oh, I don't have the marks. If I just go back to similar ones. So similar ones like this were 3 marks. Yeah, 3 marks for those worded questions. Seems like they should be worth more, but there you go. Is it worth doing, or you think you're okay with it?
It's probably worth doing.
Alright, try it. And they don't give you that pyramid thing for the formula.
Okay.
So that's why I'm trying to not use it all the time.
So would you do 180 divided by 3
Mm-hmm.
to get 60?
Yeah.
So that's 6 is it miles per hour?
Yeah. Oh, this is kilometers and miles. I might have let me just go back and find an earlier one, because so 5 miles equals 8 kilometers. Because I just cut out part C.
Oh, okay, so 60. Wait.
Oh, hang on. No, this matches up with this one, with the conversion graph. So this is the one it matches up with. This is the part C for this one. Okay.
Oh.
I don't know. Okay, how do we do this?
So then do you go to 60 miles per hour
Mm-hmm. And where is that?
to get 95?
So 60. Go up. Looks like it's approximately 95, 96, yep. Maybe even 98. Okay. Goals, let's say 95 kilometers per hour.
So no, you can't.
No, you can't. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so you had to use it. And yes. Okay, any questions about that one?
No.
Okay. So distance time travel graphs is the next thing. So any idea how you would represent this?
Okay, so so is the line that's already on there her journey there?
Yeah.
So then she stops for an hour. So you'd just do a line to 3.5.
Yeah. So halfway between 3 and 4. Okay.
So then you do And then you'd work out the time, but how would you work out the time?
So what's her speed?
30 miles per hour.
Do we know the distance?
Oh yeah, 45. So you divide them.
Mm-hmm. I think this is non-calc. Yeah, it is. How would you simplify that?
I'm not sure.
What could you divide the top and bottom by?
5.
Yeah.
So 9
Yeah.
over 6.
Yeah.
And then I don't know what that is.
What can you divide top and bottom by?
3.
Yep.
So 3 and 2.
So 3 divided by 2?
I don't know.
Half of 3?
1.5.
Yeah. Basically 1.5 or 1.5. What is the unit for this that we just did? What is this that we just found?
The time.
Mm-hmm. What's the unit?
Per hour.
Yeah, hours. Okay, so basically, she drives 45 miles at a speed of 30 miles per hour. So to drive 45 miles home takes 1.5 hours. So how could you use that to draw the last line?
So then from the line
Mm-hmm.
that's already drawn, you'd go along 1.5 hours, which would be to 5.
Yeah, and
then you draw a line down to 5.
That's it. And so for this one, in order to complete the thing, the graph, you had to use the distance, speed, time formula to figure it out. Yeah, any questions about that?
No.
Okay, so it's just something to get used to. Graph completed. Okay, this one. So now you have to work stuff out using the graph. Write down the distance from Jane's home to college. Just
9 kilometers.
Yep. And write down how long Jane stopped at the shop.
11 minutes.
Is 1 square 1 minute?
No. So 22 minutes.
When did she arrive at the shop? So that's yeah. And so how long was she at the shop for?
12 minutes.
That's right. So she left the shop 22 minutes after leaving home, but she arrived at the shop at 10 minutes. So 22 minus 10. So 9 kilometers, 12 minutes. 9 kilometers, 12 minutes. Any questions there?
No.
Okay. Okay, so this is like the one we did. Let's try this one. How long did Jane stay at her friend's house? If you want, you can read the whole thing.
So she stayed at her friend's house for 2 hours.
I think that's the ice rink up there. It says on the way to the ice rink, Jane stopped at her friend's house.
Oh, that's a half an hour.
Yeah. So A is half an hour. And they didn't say it has to be in minutes or anything. Okay, B, how far is it from her friend's house to the ice rink?
4 kilometers.
Yep. And what time did she leave the ice rink?
5:30.
Yeah. Okay, so I think you are okay to read these. Half an hour, 4 kilometers, 5:30. Kilometers, 5:30. So this is one where you have to complete the thing. I think you'll be okay for A. I think you'll be okay for B. Let's just do part C.
So you rested for 30 minutes.
And so, how would I show that?
Half an hour.
How many big squares or whatever? I think you'll be okay. Basically, like in between 5 and 6.
Oh, wait. I'm really confused.
So how do you show that he stopped moving? So at 5 p.m. Simon stopped for 30 minutes. So how do you represent that?
Oh, I just started doing A.
Oh, skip A and B. You'll be fine.
Okay. So he stopped for 30 minutes. So half a big square would just be a straight line.
Yeah. Horizontal.
And then he cycled home at a steady speed, so it would be at 7 he got home.
Correct. And so just go from 7 to there. Yep. So you're good for that. Let's check. Okay. Graph complete. Okay, this one. Let's just see these questions. Oh, so you have to compare two things. Okay. Monday and Tuesday. Holly's homeschool. I think you're going to be okay for A. I think you're going to be okay for B. Less time. I think you'll be okay for that, personally. I think you're going to be fine. Okay, so this one. Let's try just part D for this one.
Okay, so you do a horizontal line to in between 13 and 14.
I don't think.
Oh wait. So you do a horizontal line four and a half squares along.
Yep.
And then how would I do the cycling back bit?
You have to figure out what time she'd get home.
So So 18 divided by 1.5 hours, so 90 minutes.
No. You're trying to find time, the time she gets home. Or the time it would take her to get home. They give you her speed. What else would you need?
Distance.
Mm-hmm. So what?
So 12.
Yep.
So 12 divided by 18.
Yep. What is that? Just simplify.
So 2 over 3.
So 2 over 3. What's the unit?
Time. So hour.
Mm-hmm. So 2/3 of an hour. So what would that be? How do you know when she gets home?
So work out a third. So do 60 divided by 3.
Okay.
To get 20 and then times that by 2 to get 40.
Mm-hmm.
So 40 minutes
Mm-hmm.
take.
So how do we represent that? How much is like one square? How many minutes is one square?
20.
Uh-huh. And so how many little squares am I going across, or how much?
2.
So if you look at from 11 to 12, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 little squares. Or each big square is 20 minutes. So each little square?
10 minutes.
Yeah. So how many little squares am I going across?
1 little square, and then so you just go along 4.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. And where does the line end?
At 2:30.
Yeah, so I just go all the way down. There you go. So it gets there at 2:30. And you have to complete the graph. That was it. And it says there 2:30. So 3 marks for that one. Okay. Any questions there?
No.
Okay, so these types of questions are you're doing that stuff you were doing before, where you're given the distance and speed and you have to figure out the time, except you're given the distance on the graph. You're given the speed in the question, and then you have to work out the time, convert it to minutes, and draw that on the graph. So there's lots of stuff going on. So there's more stuff. In fact, we only missed one question on speed, distance, time. There's just one left, which looks similar to what you've done. The stuff I have after that is density. There aren't a lot of questions, but the reason why I put that in is because it follows a very similar thing. I think it's mass, density, and volume, something like that. So it's like the exact same idea, like the exact same type of thing. So instead of speed, distance, and time, it's mass, density, and volume, like that, for converting between them. So that could be something to practice. Yeah, how'd you find that, Ellie?
Found it quite hard.
Yes, good. This is what we need to be doing, these like worded questions for stuff. But it's basically you just follow that diagram and you do it for all the different things. Oops. So it can be graphs, it can be worded questions, it can be simple questions, and you put them all together. Any idea what you want to do next?